You know why, when most of the world has become more righteous, kinder, believes more in human rights and compassion, respect for women, sometimes going out of their minds and deciding anybody that with a mental illness, deciding whatever gender they are, is entitled. I don't know, if I decide I'm the Queen of England, do I get to be the Queen of England? But in any event, why is it in a world that has become far more tolerant, Islam has become far more intolerant? In fact, Islam has always done many, many wars. A imam who's very into peace, to his credit, told me that Muhammad was involved in 4 wars every single year of his leadership. So 30 years of leadership, 30 times 4, 120 wars. And as we know from the Quran, the Hadiths, they were savage, they were evil. For example, he would make peace with people. This is called a hunda. According to Islam, that's what Obama did. He made an agreement with an Islamic state. Nobody makes an agreement that you can't have nuclear weapons for 10 years and then you can. That's because, according to them, you're never allowed to have peace with another country. You must have war. It's what's called the House of Peace and the House of War. If you're following exact Sharia law, we're allowed to have peace, or we should have peace with you. If you're not, then we have to have war. I'm not going to go into this, but the basic question is, how come the world as a whole has progressed into better values and Islam has regressed into worse and worse, into literally, as we see with Hamas and ISIS and all around the world murdering? Most people don't know this. You should look up Islam or something, religionofpeace.com. Every terrorist attack, the ones that they kill the most are fellow Muslims. They decide that that is okay. It's gone into sick savagery. Why is that? And it just occurred to me now, thank God, God gave me the insight. It's very simple. Every group has to contend with the fact that others don't agree with them. So in Judaism, uniquely, I think it's the only religion that says, well, there's actually 2 religions. There's a religion for the Jews and a religion for the Gentiles. The Jews have 613 commandments and the Gentiles have 7. And if you're a Gentile, I don't have to make you a Jew. You have to be a good Gentile. I can be a good Jew. The other, let's say Christianity, the largest religion in the world, says, well, the whole world should be Christian. Now, the fact is, Christianity and the Catholic Church in particular has a terrible record of abusing people to get them. But eventually they change. We have to recognize the truth. And now Christianity does not do that. Christianity, I mean, I'm sure there are pocket instances, but Christianity as a whole is tolerant, believes in spreading a message through convincing. They send missionaries all over the world. Buddhism, for example, is a religion with a lot of attendees, but they say, well, we'll wait for people to look for the light and come to Buddhism. So everybody has a way of dealing with the other. But Islam has its way, and they seem to be going after vulnerable people, whether it's minority populations, people in prisons, and converting them, going to Africa, this and that. But with the West, they have a new policy, which is savagery, terrorism. And the reason for this is because ultimately Islam has fundamentally a problem. And there was a pope that once said, Islam didn't innovate anything. Judaism brought God and justice and morality and kindness to the world. Christianity brought that to the Gentiles. Buddhism, I'm not an expert on that, so I can't speak much, but it seems like, according to Jewish mystical sources, some of it is a bit of an offshoot of Jewish mysticism. As the Dalai Lama said, all religions are an imitation of Judaism. But Islam started off with an individual who decided that he was a prophet, following not only the Jewish prophets, but Jesus. And then, when people didn't listen to him, the Jews and the Christians, he went on a rampage. So he created a religion which is us versus them, and institutionalized in Islam, as one of the greatest researchers into Islam in Israel said. He has many, many friends in the Muslim world. One of them said to him, and we shouldn't condemn all Muslims, There's a big difference between Arab Muslims that have been kind of raping and rioting for thousands of years, and let's say Pakistani Muslims from Pakistan that have had their culture and Islam superimposed on it, probably mostly because it was imposed on it. But based on the facts on the ground, the guy said, listen, I'm your friend, we're friends, but at one moment I can switch and I can see you as a Jew and kill you and burn your house down. We've seen that clearly. Arabs that have been friendly with Jews for generations, for decades, and even millennia, can switch and become savage beasts. So what's going on? And the answer is that fundamentally, the Arabs have what Lawrence of Arabia said, exnophobia or xenophobia. I don't want to go into this whole psychology, but it's a self-shame and therefore an embarrassment of others. The only pleasure is in the destruction. Like a bully really is feeling shame. His only pride is in his quote-unquote power and putting others down. And last but not least, the problem with Islam is it came from one of these Arabs, and they created a religion around the fact that the others are evil. We to them are called infidels, kafirs, and therefore, according to religion, they should kill us. And until the West understands Islam is not a religion like Christianity, like like Buddhism, like Judaism, which has space for everybody else, at least today. Islam is a religion, and I am a rabbi, I understand religious creed. Islam is a religion that believes, based on the type, but definitely the Salafists that take it literally, in the murder, which, to be fair, it says it clearly in the Quran. Go look it up. Just go to Google, take any Quran, and type in Jew, type in Christian, see what he says. He says to kill. Not all the times, but enough times. When you believe God is talking to you through a prophet that tells you to kill somebody, maybe you would do it too. Islam has a big problem, and it cannot be redeemed because the problem is in the text. And this is what we don't understand in the West. We think, oh, well, there are some people that are taking the text out of context. No, the normal people are ignoring the evil text. But the actual Salafis, the people that are literally following the text, are doing exactly what it says. And until we're willing to kill them, we will be killed by them. So God help us.